Hey everyone, I was out knocking doors today in my hometown where I live now, Williamston, and had a lot of incredible conversations with some great people. And one thing that kept getting brought up is local control. Local control, if you don't know about this, is the state, including my opponent, actually voted to take away control over the decisions for solar and wind farms going into your local area and taking up the farmland. And there's a petition to try to bring that back and put it on the ballot. I hear it actually didn't get enough signatures. But what's important is to talk about this because this is an important thing. With this district, 73rd district, being about 70% rural, that was a decision that goes against what people want. Talking to farmers, they would rather have the neighbors make the decision, which the local municipalities do a good job because they have to live here. You know, they have to live here for maybe 40, 50, 60 years after they make that decision. And so they are responsible for that, to know what's best for their residents and the people they actually represent. I think the state can represent that if you're voting based on the people that you represent. I truly believe in state government. I believe in the actual representation that you need in government. And when you make that vote for that person that's supposed to represent you, I think it's important that they do represent you, your values, your ideas, and not just their agenda, not just the people that they want, or to better their political career. It should be about you, and it should be about what would affect your community. So I think that's important to talk about. I don't have a problem with solar farms. Wind farms are visually not appealing, and the data's not, it's kind of finicky with that one. But one thing we should look at before we start going after our farmland and start hurting our farmlands is we should look at the possibility of what we do. And when I say the possibility of what we do, this is what I think. And this is my plan, and this is what I think we should concentrate on first. One, we have a ton of brownfields in this state, a ton. So we should look at putting these in our brownfields. This is land that can't really be used for a whole lot. Everything in it's contaminated anyway, so any contamination that goes onto the site needs to be mitigated, but obviously it's land that's not really developable, not really usable. Second, look at warehousing, manufacturing companies, these humongous buildings, and look at putting solar on their roofs. That is a easy way to do it. They already have the infrastructure in place to do it, and that's where you should be concentrating on doing it. These are the users. But the problem you have with either one of these ideas is there's not money there. And that's what you always have to do when you do this kind of stuff. You have to follow the money. The money is important in this conversation. So what you have to do is you have to look at where the money's funneling to, because why wouldn't GM put solar panels on all the roofs of their factories? Because they're using all that electricity, it would make sense to them. And if the federal government's giving them money to do so, why wouldn't they? So you have to look at stuff like that. The infrastructure already there for them to do that, to backfeed into the grid, is still pretty much there, so there's no cost. But taking it from farmland, what you're doing is then you have to worry about where the transmission lines come from. So then you have to upgrade the infrastructure out to that area, and the majority of that power is serving the big metro areas. So then you have hundreds of miles of cable that you're going to have to get there. You're going to have easements or run the current easements that you already have, but then you're going to have to upgrade the areas. And then you're delivering power from a long ways away to get to the area it's actually needed. So again, these are situations that common sense approach, technology approach, and also just using the general idea of how this should work should be easily able to be figured out and found out. So this is where I think we need to concentrate on. I think we need to do those. Take parking lots too. Parking lots, MSU did it, and it worked great. So take areas that we already have that we can utilize and make that better. And that's what we need to concentrate on first. Do that. Then after you filled all those spots with your renewable energy sources, then if you need farmland to continue on that method, then we can start looking at that and we can have a conversation. But right now, use the land that we have, use the ability we have. Tall buildings could have wind turbines. I don't really know 100% technology with that, but I gotta assume it's doable. So look at those approaches. The state of Michigan has millions of acres of property. I'm not really sure their official count. I will look it up and I will update my video at some point. But use some of that space. A lot of that's landlocked property that can't be used, and those kind of items could be workable for them. So until the state's willing to do that, but I think before you have the state of Michigan unilaterally having the decision-making ability to put these wherever they want to, which you know is not going to be near any powerful politician, is not going to be near their house. It's just not going to happen. And that's the problem I have with it, is they're choosing to do it outside of the areas that they're in, and that's not how we do this. We need to do this common sense approach, and we need to make this right. So this is beautiful, beautiful bean farm behind me, and I want to keep it that way. And I want to support the farmers that do this, because this is what we need in this country. And Michigan is one of the best, and so is the 73rd district. So again, leave comments below if you want a sign, if you want a shirt, if you want to help, please come out and help, because again, I'm doing this for you guys, and I want to make sure that you guys are properly represented, and we want to make sure this is good for everyone. And let's help me help you guys, and let's be the positive voice of the 73rd. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. See you out there.